out there, everybody. Welcome to Blue Green's World, and on my journey to find interesting people doing interesting things, well, I got a story ahead of you today. So, who are you and what do you do?
I am Nikki Bartel, and oh my gosh, what do? I do everything. I am a mom. I work in corporate land during the day. I do art at night and whenever I can. And what else? I run a gallery. I am a busy mom. I have 5 kids and 4 grandkids, and so between supporting all their endeavors, I'm trying to take time to build my dream and do my art and reach people out in the community, speak to them through my artwork, open up conversations when they ask, when they view something. One of my pieces, listening to them, how they describe it, and hearing them describe a piece of my art, knowing that they're describing exactly how I felt when I painted it. And that's the piece I like, is taking that, which opens conversations for more depth, listening to their dreams, and just pretty much keep moving forward with just releasing and processing all the things inside of me outwardly through art, writing, music. I'm all over the place. That's what I do. I just work, art, support others, support my friends. With the gallery, it was, bringing people in, having a space. I didn't have a space for about 2 years to create. I was just at home. I lost a studio space that I had for like 10 years. And so it was like, it really depleted me for a while. So for about a year, I kind of revisited what art meant to me. I revisited how I wanted to present myself and not get caught in all the hoopla of the art scene. To be true to who I am. I felt that I was kind of falling away. I mean, because as we all struggle financially, I didn't want to make my art. I noticed, I should say, that I was, for a little while, producing to sell, and it didn't mean anything to me, and I did not like that. So I took a step back and I revisited what it meant to me. And yes, money's great, money's needed, but that's not why I do art. Art is very personal to me. Art is very healing for me. It's a story of my soul, pretty much, when I paint. When I build stuff or do jewelry or, like, say, sculptures, I call it like my tinker mode. That's more of like getting out of my head. Because of my corporate job, I'm like all computer program, IT support, all that stuff. So I have all this data, so when I build something or I do jewelry or whatever I think about, that's more of like headspace, getting out of that. When I paint, that's pure emotion. I'm feeling some kind of way. I don't know what the hell it is, and I just start painting. And it tells me, it releases whatever that is in me that I'm not able to identify until I start laying the paint down. So that's how that evolves. Outside of that, that's like my day. I run everywhere. I'm between Kent, marching band, Barberton, like my kids are all musicians. My kids are all involved in the community. So I just run all over the place. And that's pretty much my life right there. Like,
when I see you on the go on social media, just disclosure, we're friends on social media, and I see you're busy, you're all over the place. And what's the age range of your children?
Okay, so my oldest is, oh my gosh, he just turned 36. So my only son, he's 36, married, they just had their first baby. And then my oldest daughter is 33, and she has given me 3 grandkids. And then I have Saoirse just turned 21, Tegan just turned 18, and Braywin just turned 16. So I'm like 36 down to 16.
And that's high school, college. That's
all of it.
High school, college, real life. Grandbabies.
Yeah.
Wow, all kinds of stuff going on. So take me back in time with art. How long has art been associated with your life? Has it been there all your life? Did you find it somewhere along the line?
It's been there all my life, but I never associated myself as like an artist. I was like, oh, I like to paint. Oh, I love to draw. I love the arts. I love theater. I danced for a long time. I did tap, jazz, ballet. That was like my dream. As a teenager, I always was, drawing, painting, ripping up clothes, making new things. Like I expressed myself creatively through many endeavors, like music, writing. I love to write. I write a lot underneath my paintings, on my paintings. It's, like I said, it's a process. I love to read. So it's always been there. Excuse me. I'm getting over a cold. It's always been there, but I never showed people my art. I would gift it, like to family or friends or whatever. I would say after I had, 20 years ago now, there was a time in my life where I felt like I just couldn't breathe. And I talk about this a lot because I was just stuck in life. Kids, not the best home environment, just working 15-hour days, taking care of kids and just life, like trying to keep my head above water for a very long time. Disregarded my needs, disregarded just doing. And I hit a spot where I literally couldn't breathe. And I kind of got my Artist Way book back out, like blew the dust off of it kind of thing. And I'm like, I just had a need to paint. And, all the old tapes, all the crap, you suck, you're not good enough, what are you even thinking, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff, like all these things we tell ourselves. And I was like, it doesn't matter. It's like it was for me. I wasn't planning on showing anybody. I just needed to paint. So I forced myself actually every day to just do something. I had a sketchbook, I had my watercolors, I just started painting, doodling. I called it Doodle all night, and every night I would just do something. It started growing, and I did a first vending show, and I literally had nothing. Like I just had some jewelry I made, or some sketches, some paintings, few odds and ends, things like that. And people, it wasn't even so much, I don't know if it was so much, like they came, they saw the art, like they liked the vibe. They liked, I don't know, like things I would always hear, like so natural or earthy, or it makes me feel warm inside, things like that. And I was like, wow, I didn't realize, but it was the conversations. And through those conversations, it ignited something in me. It was the connections I was missing in my life. I was so isolated and just so wrapped up in just the daily grind. And it was scary to open myself up. But it was also healing. And through opening myself up, more paintings started happening, because it was releasing these years of just like all the things, not always sadness or regret or remorse or, but the joys of like hearing my kids laugh or listening to their music come down the stairwell. It would like invoke this feeling in me, and I would get these visuals and I would just have to paint. And that's like literally how I paint. So I just started doing more. People would see, they started recognizing my work. They're like, oh, that's a Nikki. And I was like really taken aback, because I didn't feel important like that. I didn't feel like, because we compare ourselves. And then I hit a place where I was like, I'm not painting for you. Some people will like it, some people won't. And that's okay, because my art may not speak to everybody, but it doesn't matter, because the ones that it does speak to are the ones that need it. And it always brings about lifelong friends through my art. I mean, it's amazing to me the people I've met who have come from, say, Pennsylvania or wherever, just to purchase my art, and because they saw it and it touched a place in them. And to me, that's priceless. That's more than any monetary gain I could ever have in that friendship. So, as I said, money's great, but that's nowhere near why I do what I do. And so now, I mean, a lot of the times I do auctions a lot. I'm very passionate about that. I feel art should be attainable. I feel if it speaks to you, I work with many people, if they can't afford it, I do payment plans. I find a way, because obviously it called to them. But the auctions and stuff, I donate art a lot to causes I believe in. When people the community asks me a lot for like Relay for Life, Hunger for Homeless, cancer, anything. It doesn't matter. I'll donate. I love supporting my community. And if I can do it through art by donating it, and they get money for that, for a foundation or whatever, then I will always do that. So that's how I am where I'm at now.
So, what mediums do you work with? You said you build things. I see you do. I see various mixed mediums here. So let's talk about the mediums you work with.
I would say mainly it's acrylic and ink. I'm very impatient. I would love to do oil. I have no patience for it. Like, I use it, but honestly, I use anything I can get my hands on. Literally anything. Coffee, tea, inks, pens. I have used coffee grounds, pastels, literally anything. Anything. I challenge myself because I don't have a lot of money, and I refuse to take from my family's mouths to support my dream. So I challenge myself with things I have to see what I can use to create. It also helps me to just kind of push the boundaries. I do not box myself in. People are like, oh, you can't do that. I'm like, yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. What do you mean I can't do that? I didn't go to art school. I would have loved to gone to art school. But I'm kind of happy I didn't, because I don't have these parameters, and oh, well, you need to be all technical. And it's my brain just doesn't work like that. Like I would love to be able to like look at something and draw it realistic. Like I would love that skill. I practice it, just not how my brain works. So like literally doesn't. I'm always laughing and people are like, I'm like, I just have this Picasso brain and like everything's just kind of like distorted, but it's how I see things, you know, or how it invokes in me. And everybody's like, oh, well, do your paint, like, are these all like kind of you? And I'm like, well, everything's kind of me, you know, because it's like coming out of me. So it's like parts of me in these paintings. And I'm sure there's resemblances. And I think a lot of people do that, but, you know, I can see it here and there, but I just, if I can get my hands on something and it strikes a fancy, I'll figure out how to use it somehow, some way.
That's an important lesson for all artists, no matter what you, whether you're a video artist, whether you're a musician, no matter what, use what you got. If you like to make a beat and you got a stick, hey, you can make a beat, you know?
Yeah.
If you're a video maker and you got a phone, my God, you can make a whole film on a phone today. You can do so much. So, yeah, utilize what you got and then put it out to the world, by all means. Another thing, a theme I want to talk back to that you mentioned was, you know, accepting that you are an artist. I mean, I used to teach a lot of classes about media classes and whatnot, and citizen journalism, and you just got to accept that this is who you are. You look in the mirror one day and you're like, yeah, I'm an artist, or yeah, I'm a citizen journalist, or yeah, I'm a filmmaker. The worst thing you can do is say, I'm gonna be. Just be.
Right.
You know, be it. And people a lot of times say, fake it till you make it. I'm like, no, be it until they see it.
Oh, that I've never heard that.
Be it until they see it. So don't fake it, be it. And let people there's going to be a theme in this show when it comes out. There's put work out into the world.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen. When I was talking with Christopher Butler, we talked about the stuff that he never expected to come back to him has come back trifold by putting weird ideas out there. What you think are unconventional. You know, and that can be the best stuff. And it's freeing to not have the boundaries. I agree.
It's very freeing.
It's freeing to not be locked into like a world where you were taught this is the bounds of art. No, it's not. You know, and that's where the innovators come from. So you've been doing this pretty much for a very long time now. So do you remember the first time you sold your artwork? Or
yes,
got into, what was that feeling like?
Okay, so I was at a vending show. It was the Gardner Bath, and I, for some reason, brought my portfolio. And I was like working on stuff while I was there, whatever. And this lady and her husband, oh my God, they were so amazing. So this lady and her husband came to my booth, and we were just talking. They were from Europe, and so we were just having conversations, and I was like, oh, well, they're like, oh, I love this. And they were talking about how they were feeling, and like we were talking about relationships and how long they were married, and just this warmth of just amazingness exuded from them, right? And I was like, oh, well, I have my portfolio if you want to see more. And they're like, yes, please. So they're like going through my portfolio, and they ended up selecting two paintings. It was like, it was the first, I was like, I couldn't believe it. But they were like they were gifting them to, one was for their granddaughter's christening, and the other one was for their daughter's like wedding anniversary. And so they selected two and then sent me the pictures. So they're over in Europe, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in Europe, you know? And, but they still reach out to me. That was 20 years ago, you know, and it blew me away, because I listening to them tell me why they selected the ones that they did, and for the gifts that they were giving, for the reason, it just blew me away. And those stories, and how they view my art, just, it wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm so great, you know, it was just like this warmth of, I feel so humble every time I sell a piece. I get all emotional. It's a gift to me when people purchase my art. And it's not it's not like this validation, it's a connection. And like, I'll never forget, there's this little boy, and he came in, I'm sorry, I get so emotional about this stuff, because it means a lot to me. Little boy family, this is my Pennsylvania family. So he came in, and I literally still have it. He came in, and it was the first time I met him, and he's like super small. And he's like, do I have enough for a piece of art, right? Cute as this, oh my God, so cute. And I'm like, you sure do, buddy. I'm like, you sure do. It's like a little paw of change, you know? And I was like, you can pick whatever you want over here. And he picked his piece, and you know, I strung it up, and he wore it, and literally, I still have his change in a jar, you know? And every year, they would come back and visit me. The daughter her mom would reach out to me, and she's like, you know, Sarah, or, you know, saw this piece and she saved her money and she wants to buy it for herself for her birthday. And then the mom would buy a piece, and then she'd buy a piece for her mom, who used to own the Snowball Bookshop, you know, so like, but they would come back and visit me, and I've watched these kids grow up, and it's like, it's like extended family all over. And so those sales, it's like, it's not like oh man, I sold. It's like, oh my gosh, I like just obtained another family member, you know, and it blows me away. It's so humbling to me, because when you always doubt yourself, like through all the trials and tribulations, that's like, and you crave connection, and that you can obtain connection through a passion of yours is priceless. Like, absolutely priceless. No money can buy that for me. And it's just so beautiful. Like the friends I've made through art sales, or somebody seeing something and running through and being like, where'd that painting go? I need that, you know? And I'm just like, yeah, so that feeling was beyond. It's a very humbling warmth, is all I can describe it as. It's just beautiful. I'll never forget that day. It's kind of like today, like the weather outside right now. It was like just like that. So.
Selling your piece, selling your work for any artist out there is a wonderful thing. That someone values your work. I mean, if you don't sell it for say, there's someone just makes a comment about it, like they really understood something, or they saw something that you didn't see in it, you know, for that matter. It's always interesting when someone sees something in your work that you didn't see. It's like, oh, do I own that, or do I say, yeah, that was... Sometimes it's secretive, and the things that we put into our work, we don't realize they put in there. You know, I know some stuff I've had, and I'm like, do you realize it's a metaphor for that? I'm like, oh, no, but I guess it is.
Yeah, I've had that happen to me a few times. I was like, you know, or like I paint a painting, I was like, wow, what? I didn't even know, like I was feeling that kind of way, you know?
And you're right, it's very therapeutic. I often, as much as I love doing it, it's hard for me to start. I have trouble starting, but once I get starting, it's like, I don't know, flying, you know, it's just that you had to jump off the cliff. It's it's the hard part, because you know it's going to be great, but there's a lot of things you're putting aside that you could be doing, you should be doing, and you jump, and then you're flying with it. But I have trouble starting, I must admit, but I enjoy this part. But I don't do the social media end of stuff. I've backed away from it a lot. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do more stuff, but it's just so exhausting.
It's very exhausting.
I don't like reading comments. I don't like I want to engage with people, but then you become responsible for your actions. I mean, you shouldn't be responsible, but then you have to like be responsible for everybody else's comments once you start engaging other comments if you have a social platform.
Right.
You can either choose to ignore it or you can choose to engage. And if you choose to engage, then you have like a whole different social. It's too much pressure.
It is.
I'd rather not engage with anything. And if there's negative things, I'll take them off, of course, if they're really crazy stuff. But for the most part, I've been pretty good at just being, hey, I'm just going to present stories.
Right.
And I've presented a lot of stories through time that have been like, I'm surprised they got through, but it was before all the changes, we'll say, and the way, like I did the drag show downtown on PBS, and no one had a problem with it. Everybody thought it was a great story.
Right.
And this is before all the, conversation started about drag performances and it's like I just thought it was a fascinating story. And people have claimed that I'm a voice for the mayor of downtown or whatever. It's like, no, I know them, but we don't like to hang out.
Right.
It's not like they pay me to put stories out. They can pay me. Yeah, I'd take the money. Yeah. If you want to pay me to be a cheerleader for Akron, yes, please do. I would love it. But so you've been doing artwork for a long time. And then you decided to move into the gallery realm, which we have, and which you can't see, it's behind me, is the gallery here in Barberton. So I want to talk a little about that. First off, what do you know about the building? Do you know anything about this wonderful building here?
Yes, so this building is over 100 years old. It was the old Barberton Harold building, still family owned, completely haunted. We do the haunted ghost tour, so Magic City Theater is having it again. The first one was last year, and we were part of the tour. And Finefrock was a doctor, so upstairs. And so apparently Dr. Finefrock still kind of resides here. So there was a psychic that came through and did the whole vibe thing. And so this was part of the haunted ghost walk of downtown Barberton that Magic Theater put on. So it will be happening again in October here. The building's so cool. There's tenants upstairs. Like I said, some of them have lived here for like 30 years. They're amazing people. They come down, they support us. But yeah, the Barberton Harold. So if I remember correctly, so the print shop used to be in the basement. And then this was like offices and all that for the Barberton Harold. And after their 100th anniversary, they just shut down. Like no more print, and it made me really sad. So there was like no more Barberton Harold, but they have like, I forget the one that kind of took over, but it's just more of a encompassing. It wasn't all just Barberton anymore. It's like surrounding. But yeah, this building's been around a long time, like a long time.
So the Barberton Harold, that was is Harold.
Harold.
Was that up until recently? Then do you know?
It was like maybe like 3 years ago.
Okay, so they made it that long. Okay, wow. Yeah, that's and it was all done in this building here until that point. Mm-hmm. And
yes.
When you say tenant, there's actually
residentials upstairs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a neat little building. This whole little area down. I'm going to do more stories in the Barberton area because these are just this whole corridor right here is amazing.
It's amazing.
I'm sure all the stories. So, on the ghost end. So you've been here. How long have you been here now?
Almost 2 years.
So what's your experiences with it? Have you experienced
anything? Well, you hear
here?
things and you feel stuff. Like if you're here, like you're shutting down, you just feel like in your chest. Do you know what I mean? Like not so much hearing. Well, there's residents upstairs, but so not so much like hearing, but there are moments of like clanks or whatever, but also very old pipes. But you can feel like yeah, like something's just kind of watching me, but it's cool. I mean, when I had my other studio, that was really bad. That was like go there at 2 a.m. and just, this isn't like a bad vibe. Over there was like scary. Over there was like, whew, I need to go home. Like this is just creeping me out. But here is just kind of like, hey, I feel ya,
Do you know if anybody died in this building during the process?
I don't know if anybody died.
Or if maybe someone...
Oh, no. Okay, yes. So the ghost tour, there was, what was her name? So Dr. Finefrock, he would come down the stairs, but there was like a nurse, and she passed away. And the story that was told during the ghost tour is that she is afraid to leave the building. And so when the psychic came, she saw her she was like, you could go. It's okay to leave. And all she saw was like her putting her hand through that front window, but like her hand would go through, and like the vision that she received was that her hand would just like disintegrate. Like she'd push her hand through the window, and so she doesn't want to leave because she will just disappear completely. And I'm like,
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's sentences we made. I mean, I don't know. We only have so many cones in our eyes. We only have so many things sentence-wise we can pick up things, and we think we can see it all, but we can't. There could be things here right now with us we can't see. We can feel their energy. I've noticed, I asked you, have you seen anything particularly, or it's more you just had a feel?
More of feeling. I haven't really seen anything. I mean, like I've seen things in my life in other places. Here I haven't seen, but the feeling or like that. Do you know when sometimes like you hear somebody say your name like that, like that, like you could hear that once in a while.
How about rogue smells? Like a cigar or a printing press smell or something like that. It's like, that's something.
There have been, but I've never really, probably because I'm buzzing around like a freaking whirlwind, I'm just, but yeah, there have been times where we walked in and it's like, that smells different in here,
Or temperature variations.
Oh, temperature is ridiculous, yeah.
I mean, you might walk in a room and
it's like
all of a sudden it's
spots
cold
are cold.
Spot. Yeah, that's a good sign. Also, I also have a theory that a lot of not loose electricity, but old electricity. I mean, we don't see it, but it leaks. Like even the power lines, they leak.
Yeah.
You can hold like a tube light to a light from outside in a field by the power towers. If you hold one up, they'll literally light up.
Wow.
They leak so much power.
We have to try that in my house.
If you, like the power towers, the big ones out in the field, I've seen they'll put them up there and they light up. It's crazy.
That's great.
Everything leaks. That's why they gotta have some resistor. They like power stations.
I didn't know that.
And send it because it leaks so much.
That's crazy.
And old wiring would leak, and you would feel the electricity. Like you ever walk on the gorge on the left hand side where the power towers are? You feel like
you
you're
feel that. You're like,
that's kind of what it would
hair's
be like.
all like.
I strongly dislike that sun.
Yeah,
just like,
that's where.
I want to get away. So, the gallery. What drew you to this spot? What was this a gallery before?
It was not. It was not. So, like I said, I had a gallery space, or I had a studio space for like 10 years. Had to leave, and had nothing. I had to leave, and it was during the worst time in my life. Like the biggest transition. I mean, I've been through many transitions in my life, and this was a huge one. And I was depleted. It hurt. It just hurt. And I had no space to create. I had to haul 10 years of, everything into my home. And it was just like, I got depressed. I just, like, it was really hard. And my friend Christina, who also I met her, God, it's 2015. So she had a studio space over at the same place, and she ended up leaving and moving out to Colorado again. But we always kept in touch, and when we were in the same like studio space and stuff, we would always talk about, man, we just need to get Like, we just need to get a gallery. We just need our own space and blah, blah, blah. And so out of nowhere, fast forward like just a couple years ago, she moves back to Ohio, and we reconnect and we're talking, and I'm like, oh my God, you're back in Ohio, da da da. And I'm looking through and I'm like Facebooking, see this space for rent. And I'm like, what the crap? It's the old Barberton Harold building. And I just shits and giggles put it out there. Hey, anybody want to go in with me? I mean, I wouldn't have been able to do it by myself or whatever. And she's like, take that down. Call me now. And like literally, I'm not even kidding you, in 1 week, reached out, had the keys, signed the lease, and we were just like, what did we just do? We just freaking got a gallery, and kind of worked backwards. Like, it wasn't like, you know how normal people would have a plan. You know, normal people would be like, you know, let's figure this out. And I was like, no, we were just like, jump, get the space, and then we just figured it out and worked backwards. And it's growing. It takes a lot, like just navigating those ways of business, and still trying to create, supporting other artists, just working together, like just the working backwards. I mean, we just laugh. We're just like, yeah, I mean, it's just who we are, you know, just like jump in and do it because we can. And, you know, we're hard workers. You know I am. I will bust my hump for something I'm passionate about. I exhaust myself, but I believe that if you want it bad enough, put in the work, you'll get it, you know, and stay true to who you are, and it'll continue to grow organically. For me, I refuse to pay people to market me. Like, well, maybe that's wrong. So it's hard when you're a small gallery to get the word out. So it's just constant, like you're saying, like social media, constantly putting yourself out there, you know, calling on your people. But the thing is what I've noticed is that, well, our community and my fellow artists, I always support them. And like you were saying, like Christopher Butler, you know, like the things you put out there from way long ago, and how much threefold, tenfold, right? If I walk the path of who I am and stay true to myself and stay true to me as the human that I am, to support others, to bring kindness and all these things, I find that always comes back to me. And I will not change that about myself. But I've noticed that in the gallery, because of the community work I do, or the help I provide, or just, I don't know, I love people. I don't like them all the time, but I love people. I have a passion for the underdog, you know. I love my homeless people outside. I feed them all the time. You know, they come visit me. I love my community. I grew up in Barberton. I grew up running these streets. You know, I left, I came back. I grew up on the other side of the tracks. I was a track rat. You know, I was a street kid. And so I have a very big passion for the youth in the community. They know it's a safe space. All my kids know, they all know me because I have kids who know all them, you know. Open mic night, they'll trickle in just to draw or paint or say hi or visit, you know, so that organic love gets spread. So yeah, working backwards, but doing like growing little steps at a time, you know, getting different artists in here, giving them opportunities of same opportunities that were given to me. I wouldn't be where I'm at if my fellow artist friends, family didn't give me opportunities. I believe that there's mass amounts of talent in this city, which there is musically, creatively, artistically, just everything, to showcase that for them. You know, it's important. I wish I would have had that when I was younger, you know, to have somebody cheering me on in that regard for, you know, instead of being like, you can't live like that, or, you know, go for something that's going to pay your bills and things like that. So I want to be able to encourage others through that, whether it's showcasing their work, excuse me, you know, showcasing their work for the first time and being like, I know that feeling, that's crazy, excuse me. But yeah, so it's been a ride. It's been an awesome, crazy ride.
So has Barberton been pretty good to you as far as the community downtown? I don't know, the chambers of commerce and all that kind of stuff. And do they come out? Do they welcome you? And I don't know, do they do that kind of stuff? I don't know here.
How do I do that?
Because there's not really like a media presence, you know.
No, there isn't.
There's not like a newspaper's gonna come down, like the Barberton Harold's gonna come down and do a story on you.
Yeah, it seemed. I would say not Barberton as a city, okay? The businesses of Barberton and the business owners of Barberton, who I am friends with, support me and my endeavors wholeheartedly. We support each other. And that to me, I'm working on a ribbon cutting, stuff like that, but I don't know if, I mean, they're growing and they're working towards more arts and entertainment down here. It is expanding. I believe that there could be more support for smaller businesses who are just navigating or growing. But I'll tell you what, El Tule, the Mexican restaurant right here. So when I lost my studio space, I was distraught. I did a revamp, right? I revamped, revisited, what did I want? I pulled in, they offered me their party room, their back room, for like 8 months to have art shows, because I had no space to show. And they opened up, they were a new business as well. Amazing people, killer food, love them. Like just opened up the party room and I would have art shows. So my first big blowout was called Art Without Authority, and I pulled in like April Couch came and supported me. She was one of the artists. Amy Mothersbaugh, Josh Fitzgerald, Kat LaGrande. Who else? April Cat. Lisa Thomas, she put pieces in. All these people came and supported me. And so we had a huge blowout. It's called Art Without Authority. And I had some of the high school kids, live band, playing live music from local, and then they catered it for me. And so for 8 months, they allowed me to do that, no cost, to support me in my endeavors until I could get a space, kind of thing. And so the businesses, like Magic Theater Company, love them. My kids grew up going to their theater. I grew up watching plays, and they're always supporting me. Like I'm live painting again for them for Tuscany on Tusk, which is September 25th. So the whole downtown, it's a fundraiser for the theater, and we shut it down. It looks like Tuscany, and they have music and art and vendors and painters and all that stuff. So do that for them every year because I support them. And like I said, they all support. So Barberton as a city, they're trying. I can say they're trying. They have Main Street on Barberton that does a lot promoting. But again, it's more of the individual businesses that I feel supports and promotes me more than the actual city.
Well, you're carrying on, I guess, the Barberton legacy. If you go back to O.C. Barber, that was an entrepreneur. We're not going to talk about his businesses practices with shutting, like taking other businesses with the matchbook thing. You know, that was different. But he started this town, and I did a story on that, like a two-parter, and I was surprised how many people had no clue about O.C. Barber.
Oh, I love him. I mean, I love like the whole
concept of it. Just, I mean, he built this whole town, and there's a picture literally of like the lake and the house that's still there before this all came about. I mean, I guess a lot of people had that utopian society kind of in their ideas. First, he did it, but he had some interesting ideas with gardening, with livestock in there. Just so different thinkers, you know. And Barberton, it's here. Accept who you are. A lot of times people look at their community as being, you know, oh, I don't like this town, blah, blah, blah.
I love this town.
You should love your community.
I literally do. I mean,
learn the history about it, and this is a great little community. I mean,
it is.
I don't understand why people just don't, you know, dive in a little deeper.
Right.
And bless you for coming downtown here and putting your roots in. I mean, that's a wonderful thing. I'm not from this area, from Southern Ohio, from a little town called Dillonville, so that'd be a big deal for me to go back home and do that. But you know, it's a whole different world. That's a tiny little town compared to like the size of Barberton. Barberton's huge compared to my little town.
Oh, that's crazy.
So you've been here for how long now?
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. Okay. What is the name of the gallery?
This gallery on 4th.
I love it.
Yeah, we're just like, hey, it's this gallery on 4th.
That's great.
Yeah.
You can't forget it.
It's like on 4th.
And okay, so tell me a little bit about this location. Like, where are we at for people that don't know Barberton? Like, this is a little hot spot, we'll say here.
Yes.
I don't know if there's a name for this little corridor or whatever.
It's like, it's pretty much in this little space, it would be, you have Tusk, which is the main street. You know, that just cuts through. It actually used to cut all the way through from east side to west side, but doesn't now because they have the new viaduct, not the old one. But we're just a little off Main, I would say. So we're like just around the corner from the main street. And so the side streets like 2nd, you know, you have amazing businesses on 2nd Street. You got Owls, and you have Pregame Tavern, and like Amanda and Chad, who own Pregame Tavern, also just purchased Snowball Bookstore, which is on Tusk. So we're like just off Main, you know. We're not like technically Main Street, but we're a little off Main. But that kind of goes with kind of how I am, just a little off anyway. So a little off Main. I'm not like fully, you know, right there. I'm just a little off.
Sometimes you just find a spot, right? You find a place. And you
really in a little nook.
It's like, did it find you or did you find it? You know, you gotta wonder about that sometimes. You know, your place is out there. For the people that haven't found a place, your place is out there.
It is.
Just keep on looking. I don't know. I often think I wasn't born here. I was born on some other planet, and they're waiting to take me away. And I don't know. Maybe I have to accept my fate as I look at the stars every night and say, "Where are you at?" And they don't come take me. Maybe I am from here.
I like wish some nights. I'm like, please, just take me.
We're like 50 minutes in. Do you need to cut things? I like a couple more questions.
No, I'm good.
Time, okay. I don't want to take up all your whole Sunday on this
I am
holiday
good.
weekend, which I didn't realize. I pay no attention to holidays. I just, it's the holiday weekend. I know like 3 days before. My mind doesn't work that way.
Yeah, tomorrow morning. So my daughter in marching band, so parades tomorrow morning. So she'll be marching, and then I'm like, rise and shine. go march the streets. You know?
It's getting the kids up motivated, man.
Yeah.
I was probably the same way. I got to give a slack. You know, you're growing up, your brains, and you're still developing. We don't like we go to sleep, we rest, and we reset. We're not like building a brain that day or like growing an inch that day or whatever.
Nothing.
You know?
They're just like.
So I try to let my daughter sleep. You know, my dad was always on me about it. You can't sleep. I was like,
I'm like, please let me sleep.
I think the science shows you need more than like 6 hours of sleep as a child. You know, you get 8-10 hours. It's okay.
They don't get that. Let me tell you, they just don't go to sleep.
Then there's the whole phone thing, the world and technology, and it's always buzzing. Okay, so let's talk about a topic that both you and I share in aspects. I mean, different levels of sobriety aspects in the world. I'm alcohol free. I don't know. I guess you call it Cali sober. I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. I don't drink. I don't do hard drugs, things of that nature. My vice is I still like caffeine a lot. And I'm a cannabis user personally. That's just me. Everybody's a little bit different on what their levels of sobriety are, and I don't want to diminish people's levels. And we are in this area of Northeastern Ohio where alcohol sobriety, AA was born right around the corner, and that works for a lot of people. And it helps keep a lot of people off. And me, I've been off alcohol for 5 years now. It was my 52nd birthday. That's my 5th birthday now. So I did it on my birthday. I tried to stop my birthday.
Oh, that's awesome.
Keep it in the same. I've never liked my birthday. It's like one more trip around the sun that I haven't completed all the things that I wanted to do.
And now
I completed one more year.
That's right.
And one more year and one more year. And I don't know. I guess for me with alcohol, I have ADHD, and alcohol made me feel normal. And I watched a film recently about a kid. I don't know what movie was it.
I heard about that.
It was a kid. It was a kid from his dad was in Rolling Stone magazine, and the guy Timothy Chalamet played his son.
Oh.
And he was a recovering addict. And in it, he said and it really hit to me is that whole you just want to feel normal. And I think a lot of people have overactive brains. I know for me, I had this overactive brain, and I just I'd have a drink and and
silence.
And then I didn't realize that I wanted to chase that. I just couldn't just be that one drink. I wanted to keep that silence going. And alcohol doesn't work that way.
No.
It'll keep that silence going, but it'll silence your whole body, and you'll forget everything as well on top of it. So I had to quit, and I feel really good about it. And it is weird living in a world with alcohol, but I accept it. Teach their own. I just can't ride that horse anymore. And I found out that you've been sober for a very long time now.
Yeah, I've been sober 30. I just came up on my 39th year sobriety. I first got sober when I was 15. Did not want it at all. I was like, I don't want. What the hell do you even do? In life. Like I was 15 years old, and I relapsed on my 16th birthday in Florida. Almost didn't make it. It was not a good situation. My parents found out. So my birthday is July 2nd, and my sobriety date's July 7th. So when they found out, the contract, because I went through rehab as 15. And I was like, I'll do what I have to do, say what I have to say, get me the crap out of here, and I'm going back to whatever I did before. I just didn't think I had a problem, didn't care to quit, thought they were full of crap, didn't want to deal with it. I just, leave me alone. Miserable, angry, bitter, resentful, you name it. I was just very, very sad. I was so unhealthy. So when I relapsed and they found out, and I had to go to rehab again. So I went to rehab in St. Luke's in Cleveland, and that place was a lockdown unit. Terrified me. They kicked my butt so hard. Oh my God, they ripped me down. That was during the time where they could just literally destroy you. Just emotionally break you down to build you back up kind of thing. And I was trying, because I went through the whole process of I already went through treatment. I know what to do. You know, you talk the talk, but you're, excuse me, but you're not walking anything. You're just spewing the words. They called me out on it, and they like made me realize that I was powerless, you know. It happened, so how it hit me, I guess, like I said, they tore me down and they took away my clothes. I was in pajamas. There were 10 locked doors. You weren't allowed outside. You lived on one floor. You didn't see your family. I was there for like 45 days for that one. And every day, like, I just kind of went at them and I was like, you know, like kind of went off and saying I didn't want the crap. I don't care. I didn't want treatment. You know, I wanted to get high. I wanted to drink. I didn't care. They threw this massive pillow at me. And like, I'm talking one of those big old pillows with the tassels and stuff. And they told me it was my disease. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And I threw it back at them. And they're like, oh no. And they chucked it back at me. And I had to carry that thing everywhere I went. Like to the dining room. I had to hold it when I was showering. Like, and I had to hold it like everywhere I go. And they would be like, do you hug it tight at night? You know, that's your disease, hold on to it, and like all that stuff. And so you have like 1 week that you get to see your family in that place, and they called it Family Week. But you're not allowed to talk. I had to sit in front of each one of my family members. Now, I'm in my full regalia, right? I'm in like pajamas to show me that I'm sick. I have Band-Aids on all my fingers because I just chewed them to a pulp. And then I have this big honking pillow that I'm holding. And I'm sure my family walked in and be like, what'd you do to her, you know? So I'm sitting there and I have to sit in front of each one of my family members for them to tell me everything I've ever done to harm them, or my disease, my choices as a result. And I get through my family members and I get to my dad. And when I got to my dad, all he said was, I love you, get better. And that broke me, because that's all I wanted was like to be accepted, to feel love, but I didn't love myself, you know. I'm holding this pillow and I was allowed to hug my family. And I could not hug my family. I couldn't hug them because I had this stupid ass pillow I had to hold, which was my disease. And for the first time after, you know, a year of treatment for now 45 days, it hit me that everywhere I go, I'm carrying this pillow. And it gets in between the people I love. It gets heavier every day. It knocks shit over. It's just a destructive, all-encompassing thing in my life. And that's when I did my first step, when I realized I'm like literally powerless over this. And something shifted because I didn't want that anymore. And people are like, oh, you're 16, you don't know what you want. It's like, no. Like, it doesn't matter how much you drank. It doesn't matter, you know, what you've done. It's what it did to you. And, you know, people would be like, I spilled more on my tie than you ever drank. Well, that's cool, you know, but this is what it did to me, and this is my bottom. You know, I'm glad I didn't have to wait 50 years or 70 years to be there. You know, my kids have never seen me drink. They've never had to experience things as a result of getting sober young. So pretty much every day, like whether it's conscious or unconscious, I think of that pillow, right? And I have a choice. It's always there. It's always going to be there. And that's cool. But I have a choice whether I pick it up or not. And I choose not to. I choose to do the things I need to do, like take a look at myself. Did I harm somebody today? If I did, how do I make amends? Or giving back, being there to help others who are going through it, being true to me, being honest, working steps, just living the life, not just being like, oh, I'm sober, I'm sober. I have great people who've been there with me from the very beginning, who actually saw me when I was brought into Runaway Shelter, and she was my first sponsor, and she has been there for me since I was 15. And she has seen all my kids grow up. And she's still there. It's a huge part of me, but it's also, I practice it daily. I'm not silent about it. I'm not ashamed of it. Some people can. God bless it, man. Some days I wish I could. I can't, and that's just a reality. I don't judge those who do. I do when, like, say if I go out or whatever, I do have a reminder of, like, thank God I don't. One, I wouldn't even be able to afford the shit anymore. Like, holy, that's like one drink is like a freaking meal. Just things like that. And I'm like, I am so, grateful that I had that opportunity, and I had a family who pushed for that to get me the help I needed. And it's a family disease. It's not just like I was the problem. It's a symptom of deeper things. So it's like working on that stuff, which I do through painting, and things like that, instead of numbing it or escaping it, because it's going to be there when you come back around. I went to IVH after that for like 4 months or whatever, and there I learned like the basic crap, like how to eat, shower every day, just basic things we don't do for ourselves when we're inebriated or in that mindset. So, and give back. I give back, because when I'm giving or I'm helping or I'm supporting other people, that fills my cup too, I don't know. Sobriety is a huge part of my story. Like, I got to do Akron on Deck. I'm in all 3, and I'm in the bicentennial one, and I got to select Dr. Bob's house. So it literally has a picture of me when I relapsed. Like actual me on the card, standing on Dr. Bob's steps, going up to the house. And then I have like a hint of like Dr. Bob and Bill, like beside me on the card. And that was like that was an honor to be able to do that card for the bicentennial deck. But there's my little 16-year-old self, freshly relapsed, picture of me, and it's just with my lovely mullet kind of thing. But, that was 86.
I foresee a time in the nearer than further future where we'll look back and go, people used to drink alcohol?
Yeah.
It's part of our culture because we needed water to drink, for the longest time. So, like, even the Pilgrims had so many gallons of beer and whiskey with them because there wasn't fresh water to drink a lot of times. So it's become part of our culture. It still is really a part of our culture, unfortunately. I'm not a big fan of the Dora cups that these towns have, and it's okay to be a stumbling drunk from place to place. To each their own, but I guarantee you're going to see someone vomit. You're going to see some violence come out of it,
I've seen that.
Alcohol's not it's not a benign thing. We treat it like you can literally go to the store and kill yourself in an afternoon with 1 bottle of liquor. Anybody can do it if you're 21 or older, and these are the things that we deem okay. there's absolutely zero positive benefits from drinking anything from red wine to beer to alcohol, no matter how much you've heard doctors supposedly say 1 glass of wine a day.
Yeah.
You know, they say the safe amount to drink is like 2 drinks a week, I think. A week.
Yeah.
Nobody that drinks 2 drinks a week when it comes down to it. You know, and if you do tell your doctor, you're lying to him. Oh, I drink 2 liquor drinks a week. You know, and not how many beers you drink every day, or seltzer water. That's just seltzer water with alcohol. That's not alcohol.
That's not alcohol.
But my point is, you know, if there's alternatives out there. You know, I look at it as switching my addictions. You know, I still have a craving for things. Well, now I push it in a different direction. You can get just the rewarding feeling from creating art.
Oh, yeah.
As you can from going out, and because a lot of the partying aspect and doing it is dopamine you're getting, and you can get that from all different types of ways, and it's positive ways. You know, it's way better to be addicted to art than drugs or whatever. You know, it's way better.
You know,
and just to get your message out there, and it's never too late to stop. You know, it's never too late to stop, and you'll realize that once you do it, it is really prevalent in our society. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And it's probably not the best thing to be out there in society everywhere. And I'm so thankful that you found it early. I wish I would have stopped drinking because I started drinking when I was young, you know, and I think a lot of us did at that time, and it became the norm. Yeah. And then it carried over. I know a lot of my buddies that are older now, and they're still drink daily. You know, they're heavy drinkers, and they never stopped that college days and the high school days. They just kept on flowing through. I know your liver's not made to take that stuff. I'm just plain and simple. Your liver can't handle it. Your body can't handle it. You wonder why you look like you're 105 when you're 55. It might be because you made some bad choices with your life, but you can change. It
just takes a desire. That's all it takes.
And it most certainly is a disease, and it's genetics. And most of the genetics, families don't realize it because they're so dysfunctional as it is. They don't even know that it's not the norm.
It's not me, it's you.
Like, I love my mother. My mother's great. She drinks every day, and that's her thing, right? You know, she said, "Do you really go on a vacation if you don't at least black out one night?" And I'm like, yeah, that you're supposed to remember your vacations, you know? And I'm like, that's not the norm. And like, that's why. And that's like my whole family. I come from a family of addicts. A lot of us do. You might not want to admit it, but you know, Grandpa still drinks every day or whatever. And I think you should recognize it. You should understand it, because if you don't know your genetics, you're bound for disaster.
Yeah, you're like a ticking time bomb.
And if you just want to sweep it under the carpet, like, oh no, my grandma wasn't a drunk. She drank every night. She was an alcoholic, and that's part of your genes. You know, she drank when your mother's eggs were in her body. You know, and soak them in alcohol and wonder why it came to you. Most people don't understand that stuff. You know, I mean,
it's interesting though, like just learning about family dynamics and the genetic makeup, and like, but also I'm the only one in my family that's sober. Like, I'm the only one. I know I have an addictive personality. Like, I can't even do freaking scratch-offs. Like, I just don't, you know? It's like, I know who I am. I don't judge others for who they are, but I'm always there if they need help. Like my kids, you know, they're very aware, like, genetically. Be cautious, you know? Not every kid has that addictive personality, but they have other avenues, you know, but it's more creative outlets or things like that. And like, you know, my one daughter, she's a counselor, you know, my other daughter, she's at Kent, she's doing double major in performance and psychology, you know, but for her, music heals. And she likes to help others through music, you know, and it's just, I think, being open and honest with being transparent. You know, when I want people to know, like always with my kids, I will always be honest with you, period. Like, you may not like what you hear, but I'll be honest. And if you ask me a question, you know, age appropriate as they're growing up, But like now they're older, and it's like, yeah, these are the things I did. Or they would be like, how do you know that I'm gonna do that? I'm like, literally, you think you thought it up yourself? I've done it a million, or how do you know that? And it's like I'm so grateful my kids are so far better than I ever was, but I'm blessed because of what I went through to where they don't have to experience that or from me, and or the lessons I've learned that I can apply so that they don't have to live that life and have better opportunities. And that's like all I can ask for, is to give them better opportunities. That's a huge thing, like with my art, like they have their passions, but I made choices in my life. I screwed things up, it took me a while to get to where I could create. I will not allow my dreams to overshadow their dreams. So that's another thing about fluctuating and flowing is I will make sure that I am there to support them. I will make sure that I'm there to lift them up and then in the path that they wish, musically, like the marching bands, for somebody who hates football, I say this a lot, not a huge football fan, I go to so many football games because they march, but it's like the coolest thing to me to be able to be there and witness the joy of their creations and their dreams and creativity and passions. And it's like, I love that. And I'll continue mine, but also by me doing this shows them that if you want it bad enough, you can do it. You just need to, it takes work. And it's just not going to be handed to you. You have to work and it'll happen, So, and I wouldn't have that if I wasn't sober. Like, literally so many things. Like, I don't regret the stuff I went through. I don't regret the things and choices. I mean, I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't experience all the things I experienced.
It's a blessing you learned early. You touched the sun. You touched the sun too early at a young age, and you came down quickly and got grounded. Most people don't learn that lesson quickly.
No.
Yeah, they just swirl around the sun and think they're never going to get burnt, basically. You got to get grounded, and that was a good lesson. And passing knowledge on to your children about their genetics is very important, too. I was never passed that genetics on. It was just raw. I don't know, the 70s and that time period was so different,
It was very different.
Very different time period than what you have today, and you wonder why you have so many problems with the Generation X, and they're so weird.
Yeah.
So odd and strange, they grew up in a weird time. But I think a lot of this, at least I think this Generation X is breaking generational curses.
I do believe that as
they're
well.
the first ones to really break those. The baby boomers, they kind of kept with their stuff. Some of them did, not all, but some of them did redeem themselves this week, but they kind of kept with it. Generation X, I think, we broke it. We broke it, and it's it didn't fix it, but we broke it, and now it's open to talk about your emotions. It's open where you were told to just be quiet, shut up, keep it to yourself. No, that's horrible. The advice you were given from adults growing up was so bad.
I know.
The things that parents told me and adults told me because I was a hyperactive kid just ruined me as a child. And they would never talk to children that way. Never treat kids, like it's your fault for not being.
Yeah, how dare you
have too much energy. What's wrong with you? It's all you.
Yeah.
No, it's not me.
It's not me. I swear.
Okay, so I think we covered a lot here. We covered all about how you got into art, how you found this journey. We didn't really talk too much about your doing your work, but I'm going to show a lot of your work in the visuals.
That's fine.
So we'll see a lot of that. We talked about this awesome building you're in here now. We talked about your road to sobriety and how we passed that on, and hopefully you learned some lessons. You out there. You can start tomorrow, and you can start slowly. You can start quickly. You can just stop. That's another thing.
Just show up. Show up.
Stop, and life will get a lot better. It might get a little hard at first, but it'll get better. It'll get way better.
Definitely gets better.
Way, way better. Okay, so thank you for making the time. Thank you for watching this show, and we'll catch you next time on Blue Green's World.